Everything Marvel. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Everything Marvel.
Sure it's not DC?
No, I'll never do DC. Sorry.
Sorry,
DC fans. DC sucks.
It does. Unless you're Aquaman or Arrow, then you suck. Aquaman or Arrow is the only two DC characters I can actually watch. This is Marvel, though. Why are we talking about DC?
Yeah, why are we talking about DC? Or why are you talking about DC? I ain't talking about DC. You the one brought up DC. Okay.
I'm talking about Washington, DC. You're the one that...
No, I'm talking about Daniel Cormier. What are you talking about?
Yeah, see?
Sports podcast. Sports hour. Oh. We lied. We were going to do What If episode 4 and episode 5 and Shang-Chi in the same video. But boy, that video is getting long. So... this is our Shang-Chi review, which will probably come out before any of the other things that we just did. But, how'd you like Shang-Chi? Shang-Chi, sorry.
Well, I'm going to rank it a 10 already, so that's if that tells you anything.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to rank it a 9.5. I absolutely love this movie. My top 5 Marvel movies, I never thought would be touched. Like, I was like, these are going to be... they're going to stay put for a while, at least until maybe the Sinister Six or an Avenger or Battle Planet or Secret War, something cool like that. But my goodness, Shang-Chi has become one of my top 5 favorite movies. This movie, it had the budget of $1 billion movie, which has never happened.
It was only $150 million.
$150 million. That is nuts to me. This movie was a lot better looking than most of your $150 million movies. I think Disney's lying about their budget on this one because this movie was fantastic. The CGI was out of this world, and I've never seen anything like it.
I mean, the dragon fights were so... I thought I was watching an actual dragons fight.
Yeah, dragon fights were absolutely nuts. And before we get too much into the plot and everything, this from here on out is spoiler zone. Is that like sports or something? But you are warned, so do not enter without watching Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
But we know you're gonna just be like, I ain't going to the movie theater to see it just yet. I'm just gonna go ahead and watch this.
Yeah, because it's not on Disney Plus.
We got Rebels. There's Rebels everywhere. Don't worry.
Rebels. I'm just a rebel just for kicks. Yeah. Okay, sorry. I love that song. Man, what a movie to start off with. We get introduced to Shang-Chi and his father, which turns out he was a bad dude at the beginning, like beginning of his time, I guess. He lived for 1,000 years. And
would have lived for more thousands of years until he cocked over,
dead, sacrificed his life for son. Spoiler warning.
I wouldn't say he sacrificed his life, though.
Yeah, he pushed him out of the way because that thing was going for him, and he used his rings to push him out of the way. But he was a bad dude. He conquered cities. He conquered nations. He
wanted power.
He wanted power more than anything. And then he met Shang-Chi's mom, who come from Talo, something like that. I'm gonna have to rewatch the movie. I've only seen it once, and she's bad, dude. Shang-Chi's dad. I wish we knew the name of his dad. I cannot think of his name right now, but he was a bad dude with those
Mandarin.
Yeah, I guess you could call him the Mandarin
because he is the Mandarin.
He is the Mandarin, not like the fake Mandarin, Ben Kingsley, which I think his name in the movie or in the cinematic universe is Trevor or something. But boy, he makes a return, and he makes a killer return. But we'll get into that a little later. His dad with the 10 rings was one bad dude, and he met Shang-Chi's mom, and boy, she airbended his butt over and whipped it with a branch or two.
It's weird how he fell in love with the only person that could defeat him.
Yeah. They started doing like this little dance. Like they were fighting, but they were dancing. And
dance fighting.
He just looked at her and was like, hey, baby, what's up? She's like, ooh. That's how the movie happened. Just so you know, exactly.
Yeah.
Word for word. And I think my mic is no, it's not. Sorry, we had mic problems earlier. I thought it was happening again, but it's not. Okay. And so we get to Shang-Chi's real life, and it was funny because the dude pulled up in like a Corvette or something, and I'm like, this dude's about to show off.
No, it was a BMW i8.
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know cars.
No, it wasn't. Was it?
I don't know. But
it was a BMW.
He pulls up, and I thought it was Shang-Chi, but he was just the what? What was that look for? You're like, oh, what?
I'm still thinking about what car he was driving because it's bugging me. But he was a valet.
He was a valet. Him and his, I want to say woman, but they're just friends, which they have like.
What she looks like, Disney needs to be like, hey, you want to work for a new movie we're going to make called Mulan in live action?
They already have that.
Well, she's not it.
Well,
she needs to be it.
Yeah, she, especially when she became an archer, she really looked Mulana-ish. But he had a very boring life. And then he had
a very boring life for a small amount of time because he ran away from home.
10 years.
And then escaped here and then purposely had a boring life.
Yeah. And his mom ended up giving him, and he has a sister, and they had pendants. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. And
they're green.
They are. And so they reveal this map later on in the movie.
The mom dies, by the way.
She does. She takes a lot of them out. We'll get into it a little later.
Well, I can explain because we've got to lead up to the point at this point of the moment at least.
What moment?
So the reason why Shang-Chi ran away from home is because his mom died and his dad gave away the ring. He put down the rings to be with his mom, but the mom died.
Yeah.
So then he got the rings back, and then he trained his son, Shang-Chi, to be an assassin. Yeah. And he was sending Shang-Chi to go kill the people that killed his mother. And instead of doing that, he just ran away. He left to go do it, but he never did it. He just ran away.
No, I think he did it. I think he was hinting toward that he did it.
But he never said yes or no. She said, well, did you do it? And then he just didn't say anything.
He was like, I think he did it. Because he said, I'm a bad, like, I've done bad things. She's like, so did you do it? And he was like, and he just kind of told the story, and then he got up and walked. So he definitely killed him for his dad, or not for his dad, but for revenge of his mom. And oh man, that bus scene was absolutely phenomenal. He reminded me. I thought this movie was going to be more like the Jet Li and Bruce Lee like type fighting movies, like the Kung Fu, nothing but that, and maybe a little bit of magic with the rings. But this was like 80% magic, 20% Kung Fu. It was a fantastic blend. And what are you doing?
I don't know. Actually, I think they did say that the fighting is Tai Chi. Which I think is a form of
based on it,
Bruce Lee fighting.
Yeah, and he puts it to the test in the bus. They go at it in the bus, and it was a fantastic scene, well shot. We get a shot from outside the bus, from like the side point of view, and it was absolutely awesome. And I feel like if Stan Lee was alive, that he would have been the bus driver, because the bus driver had a really short part, like a 10-second part. So I feel like that was kind of, I'm not going to say it was hinting that it was supposed to be Stan Lee, but as someone who's watched Marvel a lot in the past like few years, that was supposed to be Stan Lee. And that bus scene was really, really awesome. And he gets his pendant stolen there, and
by the guy with one arm and a sword.
Yeah.
And has one arm.
Oh,
that actually can go through anything because he literally sticks it through the bus and cuts the bus in half.
Yeah, it's like
Black Panther-ish type thing.
Yeah, It's very like futuristic type. And he was right there and he just went like that and it come out. I don't know where was it up in his skin? Was it up in his arm? I feel like that would hurt every time
But he could take it off and connect another one to it.
He could.
Which we do see later in the film whenever he's fighting the things from the dark side. And he grabs a staff that they have and breaks it and puts the dragon scales sword on his arm.
He does.
He clicks it on there, and then he starts cutting things in half.
I don't know how it perfectly fit in there.
I know.
This is like a Tony Stark type glove thing where it just
adapts.
Yeah, nanotech. But he goes after his sister and his bus. The guy on the bus was recording, and he was from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
If you know the guy, he was like, Spider-Man, do a cool flip. And Spider-Man does a flip. He's like, yeah. Yeah, he was in this recording the bus fight and posted it.
He was like one of those people that like pretends to be a YouTuber or a live streamer or something.
Yeah.
He's like, he said, I took a couple of years of karate. He said, I'm going to start. He said, I think I'm going to rate this. Yeah. And
he posted online and they get to where his sister is, or supposed to be, like an address sent to her, to Shang-Chi, but it was actually his father that sent it so he could track him. And we see the Abomination take it on Wong from Doctor Strange. If you don't know Wong,
if you don't know Wong, then you don't know Marvel. Just saying.
Yeah, he's awesome. And he did a move that was pretty freaking awesome. Abomination had hit him, and he was like, "That hurts. Here, how do you like it?" So he brought up one of his portals and brought a portal up on the other side, and the Abomination punched, and he pretty much knocked himself out.
And his fist went through the portal and came out the portal right at his face and punched himself in the face and knocked him out.
It was very awesome, and I hope we see a return of that move somehow. And it was weird because after that fight, and Shang-Chi ends up fighting somebody, and it ends up being his sister, and she kicks the crap out of him.
But he holds back a lot.
No, he does. And in the little, like, I guess, locker room, if you can call it that, we see Wong make a big portal, and he told the Abomination to follow him. So there's something going on between them two. Not relationship-wise. That's gross.
Maybe.
Oh, gosh.
There was just a dark room with a glass case in there.
Wong
loves some alien Wong.
Hulky Long. Hulky Wong.
Hulky Wong.
And so there's something going on between them two. Like, we may get a little bit of explanation.
What if we get Wong his own film or something?
Oh, I would love that. I love Benedict Wong. He is so awesome. Weird. His real name is Benedict Wong, and he plays Wong. I wonder if they're just like, okay, which is your name?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
What? Benedict Cumberbatch is not playing somebody named Cumberbatch.
No. I'm just saying they have the same first name. So Wong has the same first name as Benedict Cumberbatch, and he also has the same last name as the character he plays.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Oh, okay.
And they're from the same movie.
They are.
Like, man, we got two Benedicts. I wonder how that process went down whenever they were casting. It's like, yeah, we're going to choose Benedict for the lead of Doctor Strange. Which Benedict?
Oh, he's like, yes.
It's like, no, not you, Benedict. The other Benedict.
He's like, oh. He's like, you can play Wong.
I am Wong. Well, since we did that, we'll go ahead and give you another role. We'll give you Wong. Wait, what? I am Wong. What? Okay, this is all messed up.
And yeah, I want to know what the relationship is. Maybe Wong is working for Valentina, which I would hate to see, but maybe he's part of the Thunderbolts. We don't know. We get back into it, and their father catch up to him in her little palace she built, and takes them back to the Ten Rings, I guess, corporation. I don't know. And boy, we see some really cool stuff with the pendants. He puts them in, and it creates this little treasure map to the forest where his mom essentially lived. There was a village inside the forest, and the forest was kind of like Maze Runner in a way.
It was a always adapting maze. Like it always changed.
Yeah.
Like in order to get through it, you had to be perfect on time with however the maze changed.
Yeah, and there was one easy route, but it only opened once a year for one day. And
which just so happened to be like
3 days.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It was weird. But then we get introduced to Ben Kingsley's character, Trevor. And my goodness, what a comic relief he is.
They were in a prison and I didn't know what was going on. Like I was like, what is that noise?
We heard something like
yeah.
I'm like, I thought it was the Abomination. I thought they were gonna go back there and see him. I'm like, whoa, that's weird.
And I go back there, there's a guy standing there. I was like, who the heck is this guy? And I was so excited for him to turn around. I was like, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it?
He turned around as Ben. I was like, that's awesome.
My second favorite part, well, he's got a lot of, every part that he's in is good. But there was the very first one, this thing jumps out on 4 legs, and it's adorable, but it has no face and it has 4 wings. And they're like, oh my gosh, what is that? And he's like, what is what? And they're like, that. He's like, oh, you can see that too?
He's like, I thought I was hallucinating.
And she's like, it has no face. And he's like, it's sensitive.
It jumps up in his lap and he covers him. He's like, it's sensitive. And if you don't know who the character we're talking about is, it's
what's Iron Man 3?
The fake Mandarin from Iron Man 3. He
the guy that completely obliterated the U.S. government.
Yeah, he did, and they reference it too. And so we're gonna skip ahead, and because that little creature leads them to Tala. It's not Tala. Talo. Her home place, and we see some awesome creatures that I didn't think we were going to get to because they talked a lot about it, but I didn't think we'd get to it, at least in this movie, because this movie was already running on seemed like a lot of budget in the first half, and the second half, it didn't compare.
Like if they actually only spent $150 million on this movie and it was that great, just
145 was the ending of it.
Just imagine No Way Home.
That's gonna be crazy.
Like, what if they had?
What if they're only like, oh, we're only spending $100 million on this?
What if they're like, we're spending like $500 million on this? Oh my gosh, $500 million on a movie?
That'd be crazy. That's in-game.
Which this movie is, no doubt, probably gonna break $1 billion or $2 billion.
Shang-Chi has actually broke the Labor Day record for open weekend. What?
Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, I said opening weekend. With like it's either 70 or 90 million,
90.
and man, it deserves it. So we get introduced to their her home village, and there's these creatures. We see a 9-tailed fox, which was absolutely gorgeous, and we see a horse-looking thing, which Trevor
looked scary. It looked like a Chinese dragon thing that they do in like parades.
Yeah.
Had the face of that, but it was a horse. Oh man.
I want to get into every line that Ben Kingsley talks about.
Well, we could do this one because I laughed for about like 5 minutes.
No, but
I couldn't stop laughing.
There's so many lines before that I want to, but
Yeah.
it would be an hour video. But this one, he looks at the horse and he goes, or the thing. I'm just gonna call it the thing, and he goes, "Is that a horse?" Or what's he say?
He's like, that's a weird looking horse.
Yeah.
And he said, why is it looking at me?
And there's like good 10 seconds pass, and he's like, why is it looking at me? And it just stares at him. And we laughed for a good
I want to look
2
that
minutes.
scene up.
I do too.
I wonder if we could find that scene and post it for him.
I don't know.
It'd be very hard right now.
Yeah.
Where it just came out, but.
And it'd be very bad quality. But we laughed for 2 minutes
Yes.
straight. But we were kind of slap happy. I feel like you were definitely, because you've been up a lot. But but then we get into it and we find out that his father's not that bad of a guy. Like in the beginning of his living, he was horrible. He killed probably millions of people. But when he met his mom, she gave up her powers of, I'm gonna call it airbending because that's just what it is. But the Great Protector is pretty much giving her powers, the dragon, and she put all that away, and he put his rings away, and his past ended up catching up to him and killing his mom, his wife, which is Shang-Chi's mom. They send like 50 guys after her. She kills like a good 40 of them, but she ends up dying, which sets him on a spree to save her, because these things on this other side of the wall of the darkness is calling to him, and he thinks it's her. And so all he's wanting to do is get his woman back. And I mean, can you blame him? I mean, if you lost the love of your life, I mean, he was conquering nations and he put it down for her. So, something huge was there, and he just wanted her back. He was brokenhearted, and
his kids left. So, I mean, he lost everything.
He did. So, I mean, that's...
Which he knew where his kids were the entire time. He just said he let them have a good 10 years to do what they wanted. So he could have went and got them a lot sooner, but he gave them time.
Yeah, I think he was probably hoping for them to come back on their own, because that would have showed loyalty. But they didn't.
Which whenever he did see his son for the first time since that long time,
they touch heads.
They did touch heads, but it was weird because he was fighting that like thing with the mask that had cut his cheek. And
when he was a kid.
And he almost killed it, but the dad used the rings to stop him.
He was going to.
And the dad actually said something to the son. He said, I told all my men that they couldn't kill you if they tried. And he said, I'm glad that I was right.
Yeah. Shang-Chi's bad, dude. I don't think there's... Hand-to-hand in the MCU, nobody could touch him.
Mm-hmm.
Not even Cap. Even with Cap's shield, I don't think they could.
Like, he was crazy without the rings.
Yeah.
He didn't even get the rings until the main end.
Yeah, we really didn't see him use the rings that much. I mean, he fought...
Until the dad passed away and then gave him the rings.
Yeah. And so his dad ends up ambushing the village, and they all start having a war, and he goes right past them to open the door. And so he starts opening it. And this is where things go awry for them.
This is probably where 80% of that budget came in.
Yeah, no kidding. These little squid-looking things come out that sucks your soul out. Or it takes your soul and then feeds this big dragon-type looking thing.
And it makes the dragon stronger.
It does. And they have to get the souls there, or it can't break out of the dragon scale that was built to contain it. And, well, spoiler warning, it gets all the souls it needs. And for a little bit... Well, okay, I'll get there. I don't want to. Okay. So it busts out, and Shang-Chi gets introduced to the great protector when he gets knocked into the river. And this thing, I thought it was just going to be like, give him a pep speech or like a pep talk, be like, hey, go fight this guy. But this dragon fought most of the fight. And it was absolutely fantastic. It reminds me of the dragons from Raya, the Last Dragon, which I think that's based on like the Chinese dragons too. So it makes sense. Oh, that was weird. And this fight was just so good. It really was. We see dragons fight each other, and the bad dragon almost sucks the soul out of. Yeah, that was weird.
He had it by the throat and was sucking the soul out of it.
It was
almost made him.
I thought it was going to happen. I did, because that's a lot of CGI for the next.
Almost sucked him to death.
It was out of his mouth, and it was okay. Okay, we're done.
But then that girl with the bow, Shang-Chi's girlfriend thingy,
she became Hawkeye. Hawkeye within 2 days.
Within a day. She said, I just learned this a day ago.
She's bad, too. She's like, oh my gosh, that's my last arrow. I wonder if we ever get like a different cut, and she's like shooting like 6 or 7 times. She keeps missing. And she's like, oh, this is my last arrow. That would be more realistic. But, oh, man. And Shang-Chi throws the rings in his throat or something, and they go right here, and they just explode.
Not his throat, but the dragon's throat.
Yeah, the dragon's throat. Sorry. Yeah.
And then he uses them, and it goes down in his stomach, and the rings start spinning and like start tearing up the inside of this dragon. And he pushes down, and the rings go down farther, and then he pulls it up, and it makes the dragon explode.
Throughout the movie, his mom does this little dance with him, or not dance, but
the airbending stuff.
Yeah, and so he does that in midair. And
He kind of waterbended.
he was like,
So he's a waterbender.
he's a every bender. Well, in the comics, I think every ring has a different element.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much The Last Airbender with rings. But this movie was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. It was so good. I'm not going to give it a 10 because I'm kind of like Rotten Tomatoes. I'm rough on my scores. You don't want to see my scores for the Arrow when they come out. But yeah, that's about all I got to say for this. I can't really talk about any room or theories I have because which the post-credit scene pretty much introduced him into the Avengers because Wong come to him and got him. He's like, this is your world now. So, and we get to see Hulk. Well, not Hulk. We get to see Bruce Banner. Just Bruce Banner. There's no Professor Hulk, which is very interesting, which I'm assuming we'll see in the She-Hulk. And if he's back into his normal form, could we see World War Hulk in the future? Which I think would be absolutely phenomenal. All the Avengers taking on Hulk, World War Hulk would be... Whew, give me that, please. And we see Carol Danvers with her hair grown back out. So we got a lot to look forward to. So
He still had a sling on too. Hulk did.
yeah, he did.
Or Bruce Banner.
But I think his arm was normal, which was weird. Like, I'm going to have to rewatch, but it looked like he just had a regular human arm, but he had to have it in the sling because the Hulk's arm was effed up. I don't know. It's weird. We'll get answers later. But make sure y'all subscribe. Click that like button and click the notification bell to know when we post it.
Well, hold on. Unless She-Hulk is based before this and something happens to him in She-Hulk and he breaks his arm or something.
Possible. Because the Abomination is going to be in She-Hulk. 100%. And, I'm excited for She-Hulk because I want more Bruce Banner. And we don't get enough of Bruce Banner. But, thank you for joining us. If you like this, please click the like button. Make sure you go watch our other Everything Marvels and watch our reactions to What If, which we post pretty regularly until it's done with. But see you in the next video, everybody.